Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Very good evening, Professor Muhammad Yunus, Chairman of the Yunus Center, Mr. Hans Ritz, Head of Global Social Business Summit, Tan Sri Irwan, Secretary General, Treasury Malaysia, Mr. Ashran Ghazi, Chairman of the Board of Trustees of My Harapan, distinguished guests, delegates, youths, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to welcome all of you at this closing plenary of the Global Social Business Summit 2013, and to join you celebrate your commitment to changing the world. I am personally a great believer in a social business model. And that is why I agreed to have the summit here in Malaysia. And I want to tell you, I read Professor Muhammad Yunus's book. That was quite some time ago, on social business model. And it struck me as a very workable model because it complements the conventional business model, which has served its purpose and will continue to serve its purpose because it will create business activities, but it cannot solve the world's problems. It can create jobs, it can lead to innovation, it can increase investment, and therefore the wealth of the country, but it is not catered for solving problems of the community. It can also lead to great inequality of income, because I remember reading Stiglitz's book, and he made this very, very stark point, very poignant point, that in the United States, 1% of the population enjoy more than 90% of the increase in income. And that, to me, means unfettered capitalism can lead to great inequalities of income. So we need to temper capitalism. We need to find a new model. I won't talk about what the government is doing, because I will keep you until tomorrow morning if I talk about the government. I just want to talk about how social business as a model can complement what the government is doing. Because it will lead to a model that is sustainable. That's key. Because if you go around asking for charity, asking for donation, asking for money from the government or from GLCs or from companies, they get tired of seeing you. And sometimes they give you money, not because they want to give you money, but they're tired of seeing you. But they give you money, and you use up the money, then what? Where do you go? You're stuck. So therefore, that kind of model is not sustainable. But if you embark on this social business model, you create an enterprise that is not self-serving, an enterprise that will earn profit, but the profit will be channeled for social purposes. It can solve many problems. And I saw for myself some of the wonderful examples a few minutes ago. I saw how a bunch of young boys and girls are trying to set up a hospital in a rather impoverished part of Cambodia. They want to raise 4 million. They want to serve that community. And I saw some young people with the idea of not wanting any waste product in our society. How do you turn that waste product into something useful? They even gave me a bag for me to use. Maybe when I present the next national budget, I can use that bag. And Treasury doesn't have to give me a new bag. And I know I meet some people who are somewhat handicapped, but they're very cheerful because they have a model in which their handicap is not a burden, but instead they can put it to good use. Now I see so many of these exciting things, and therefore I'd like to congratulate Professor Mohammad Yunus. You truly deserve the awards that you have received. The Nobel Prize, the Tun Razak Award, and many other things. Because you have launched a very, very powerful idea. And that idea can really change the world. And this is what it's all about. Because when you talk about the young people, and in this room, you are the young people. That doesn't include me. I like to think I'm still young, but I'm not. You can see from my visible appearance. But I believe in the energy of the young people. I believe the young people must be empowered. I believe the young people, given the empowerment, given an opportunity, can really make a difference, can really change this world. And that's why I believe in a social business model. And how do we go about it? We have this summit. We propagate this idea. We set forth young people to venture out a social business model, and to underpin and underline our commitment, my government's commitment, we are going to establish a center called, the acronym is MAGIC, Malaysian Global Innovation Center, Innovation Creativity Center. It's called MAGIC, the short form. I'm working very closely with the Secretary General of Treasury, who's here with us. And I'd like to announce that as part of that activity of MAGIC, we will create a social business fund. And as a Minister of Finance, I will set aside 20 million ringgit for that fund. So you can apply to MAGIC later. We can fund your social business enterprises, provided it meets the objectives, and provided the objectives would be to change the lives of so many people for the better. We have so many problems in the world. Malaysia is a wonderful place. It's a great place. Thank you for all the compliments, Professor Yunus. But even in Malaysia, there are cracks in our society. Because the business model, what the government has done, and there are limits to what the government can do, we cannot cover every single area, address every single problem, allocate enough resources to solve some of the pressing social problems that we have in this country. So if we unleash the young people, empower them, support them, those problems hopefully will be addressed by the very people in this room and many others like them outside this room. And I hope that this social business summit here will plant the seed of a quiet revolution, not equivalent to the Arab Spring, but a quiet revolution, and a revolution to make sure that the world is in better hands. And thank you, Professor Yunus, for your contribution. Very powerful idea. I'm one of your followers, if you like, in terms of an idea, and I love this idea. And I hope many others will join hands as we celebrate together. We can change the world. Thank you.